There used to be a village here. Now there's not. I'm gonna spend this week building a whole new one. Let's start on the walls. Now, considering I didn't have plans in the first place to be transforming this entire village, I still don't really have plans for what I'm gonna do here. I have gone around and laid out a few blocks, had a few signs placed, so I've got a general concept of what's gonna go where, but how it's gonna look and everything, I got no clue. Which is why I thought it would be nice to start on this gatehouse here. One of the two walls, the other wall, is gonna be way back there. We're mimicking the styles of other things I've done. This up here was copied all the way from my mud farm over there, so definitely taking inspiration, but also adding some variety. We've got this tough and darker blocks with the mahogany. Super nice looking. This area is also a lot more lived in, so we're gonna have a bit more dedicated foliage gardens, areas like this. But it should be easy. There's a lot to do. What, 12 buildings in here in total? But some of them are going to be repeat houses. There's obviously going to be some thematic similarities, a lot of copy pasting. So I think it's doable. If you follow me on Twitch and watch my streams, you know I've been working on this terraforming and finished it up, what, Wednesday? And I'm uploading this Saturday or Sunday. So you get a pretty good grasp of the time span I'm building this in. I'm going to build that wall behind me, and then we can get into the village itself. My advice when working on a double diagonal like this, don't. Seriously though, this roof shape was really hard to get connected back down in a way that I enjoyed, and even then there's still some problematic areas that I'm just gonna not look at. Even this corner is a little awkward, but on the other end I'm just gonna kind of shove it into the wall and things should be good. It's gonna be behind everything else, blocked by a bunch of other buildings, so it really is pretty unimportant. We just need to replicate this feel over here on the angle, and I think we did that job. So, the village itself, I want to start right at the front with a hotel. See, I want this place to have some logic, some actual thought behind its layout, and a hotel right next to the entrance was probably the most logical decision I made. The plan's to have a little horse thing over here, and then I'm not sure what's going to go on in here. I'm thinking of having a garden, kind of like what's behind me, but inside. Basically having the hallway be like a garden space. I think that would be pretty neat. So maybe instead of a wall here, it's more like a fence or a gate. And then there's 2 stories. I don't know what I'm going to do for a staircase, but we'll figure that out. Alright, well, I think the outline's done. Horses over here and some stables. They'll be pretty simple. Little area to store food. Entrance right next door for convenience. You can go in here to enter the rest of the hotel. And there's also the front counter right over here. When you walk in, there's going to be a little circular path on the bottom and a garden in the middle. And then a staircase right here that goes up to all the rooms. Big pricey room right next to the staircase, and then a bunch of smaller rooms here, 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 and here. And then the roof shape's gonna have a hole in the middle, the 2 sides here being lower than the higher one back there. I think it'll work out. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the only solid walls are gonna be on this upper story here. Down here, I'm planning on making this more of like a fence, like I stated earlier. Alright, the idea has worked out, I think. I'm liking how this came together. There's still probably a few final details I need to throw onto this, especially foliage out front here, and might do some interiors, I don't know yet. But the feel of this place is exactly what I want. I did do this front desk. Got a bunch of tripwire hooks. These are acting as little key ring holders. I thought that made sense. And then the garden in the center, a little storage room back there, and then a staircase up to all the rooms. Like I said, haven't thought of interiors yet, so these look very ugly right now. Especially this one, because I have these lights and it takes up all the room. That's why I'm questioning interiors. I like the layout of this place, though. It's pretty unique, and it's adding a lot of substance to the area. Honestly, just volume of buildings is what I'm going for. We want a village or a town vibe, right? So before I jump into more specific buildings, I think I just want to increase that volume and get these ones out of the way. These 2 and these 3 back here, which should be... Oh. they're already done. Now listen, I understand it's a bit of a time jump, but I didn't really have words to describe what I planned on doing. I just wanted to do it. This is the town market. It's a little barren right now. There's plans for that. Don't worry about it. But you get the general idea. We've got a market square open for stalls and shops to be put up. We've also got 2 permanent stalls within the building underneath here. And also unplanned, a clock tower up back there. I know there's not much detail to that clock face. It's kind of just a dot in the middle. Be imaginative, please. This thing conveniently has a really good sightline from basically anywhere here. For example, if I run up the hill here, it peeks right through the trees and you can see it there. Or if I go to where we're gonna build next, it's also visible from here. I got very, very lucky with a lot of gaps in the trees. It all worked out. It's very nice. I had this blocked out as just like an L shape on the ground. No clue how it was all gonna line up, and I'm actually really happy with these roofs. There's something very nice about these two being similar, not exactly the same, but similar. We got the 2 tiers here and the 1 here, but it's the same kind of like triangular, squared, uppity thing. And then the way this intersects, the asymmetry as well with this clock tower cutting into the roof here, and then this overlapping. It all just has a very nice feel. And speaking of feel, we finally have most of the buildings up. There's 4 more I have to do, I believe. 1 up there, like I mentioned, 1 behind me over there, and then the 2 down this street. But at the very least, this street is complete, and it's feeling very nice. I mentioned plans for filling in these spaces. I want it to be a bit of a community hub around my base. You'll notice my banner and Clover's banner right there. I'm hoping I can convince a lot more of the backyard members to make their own banners and throw them up there. That's just something Clover and I did for the time being, but maybe we can inspire some others. And on top of that, there's some communal businesses that would go nicely around here. I know there's already some chains around the server, so I can maybe help out setting up shop in another location. But for the time being, those will remain empty. I know I said I was gonna work up there, but I actually want to finish off this street. Well, I am glad that I did these first. They really complete the whole feel of this lower area here. The last 2 buildings is really to tie together to the rest of the area, but these builds here really finish the core of the village itself. This is a little fisherman's hut. It's got a dock on the outside, and a little staircase down here. This is one of the only buildings to have a door in the cobble, the other being the last one I made. But I like it, little basement access and a dock out here, 1 for fishing, I don't know, here, and 1 for there. Maybe this is for boats and that's for fish. I'm not the guy who lives here. Most builds here in general are pretty barren of detail. I don't have a lot of the other blocks around, you know. You saw a few barrels down there, but other than that, it's really just been the buildings. I'm looking for sheer volume today. Those finer details are something I intend on doing over time, very slowly. I'll say it time and time again, it's not my strong suit doing that kind of thing. I'm very broad strokes, so we're at least gonna do that first and just get everything down. The blacksmith, though, obviously doesn't sell too much as a blacksmith without the furnace and other details in here. You'll notice it's a bit more interiorly focused. Unlike all the other houses, this house is possible to furnish. And the reason for me doing that is, although my storage is great, it doesn't store everything. I'm gonna need a spot for diamonds and other ores and other essentials, I guess. Which for the time being, I'm storing under this staircase in a little room here. That's like my excess storage from the storage. So dispersing that out and getting some stuff in here would be nice. That's also why I have the end chest on the outside over here. So yeah, this building in the future will definitely get a lot more touch up. One thing to note, it's the only building in this village that doesn't have a mud layer to it. I wanted to skip that and make this build a lot more gray just because it is blacksmith stony. That makes sense in my brain. But also looking down the street, I wanted something unique that stood out on its own, and it's doing that job well, while still repeating other things. Now that these are done, the last 2 builds should be pretty simple. I don't think I've properly shown it off yet, but there's a path all the way on the outside here that curves up this cliff. It's pretty nice, pretty scenic, and actually, I haven't walked it since I built a lot of these things. It looks very nice with everything going on down there. But the thing I wanted to highlight is that there's going to be a building right here. This is our waterworks, I guess. There's a little water mill on the back powering something in this building. My first thought was that it could be something pottery related, so maybe in the future we'll decorate this with a lot of clay stuff, but for now it's kind of just a utility building sitting all the way up here. The point of this, of course, being I have this lake here that actually has a waterfall connecting down to the lake below right here. And this is going to run further up. There's going to be another river kind of stream coming off this way. This one as well. They're all going to join up to waterfalls running up this cliff, which will eventually all meet somewhere up here in this cherry blossom biome that I'll customize out. That'll connect over to this river as well. Should unify everything. But yeah, tucked away in the corner, not really visible from anywhere. I did that intentionally. There's a lot of trees blocking this from view from the rest of the village, so it's kept really basic, very blank walls and a very simple roof. You're not really supposed to see it, and any kind of spectacle that it does have is shown on the path, but that's about it. Again, just wanted to highlight how perfect the clock tower is. You walk out here and you get a nice view of that right outside of the door. It's good. I like it. And on top of this, we have one more building, which I went ahead and actually did already. We got these little bridges figured out. And there's this right here, right under our statue in our storage room. This is probably where I'll put my bed permanently. I can dig into the wall and do a proper interior in the future. But for now, it's just going to be another empty box. And as long as we're all right with that, this village is basically done. This is usually the time I'd be doing a reveal with shaders and everything, and it'd be all cinematic. I think it's better to just do a walkthrough like I'm doing now. Take a look at the village. Get a good view of all these different angles here. Imagine when all the market is filled out with shops and all the banners and everything. It's going to be super cool. Some third-person angles as well. This village, I'm really happy with it. Even without shaders, I think it looks very good. With that in mind, it took quite a bit of time to block everything out, so I think we're going to be done for the day. There's still a few things I want to do around this village and a lot of things I want to do around this base, but moving forward on the backyard, I think we're going to be doing some things away from my base just for a little bit. So expect some new things, some new themes moving forward in the next few weeks. But for now, it's time to go. If you did like the video, then make sure to like and subscribe and do the things. Time to go. Bye. Bye.